Hello beautiful souls, it is I, Miriam Lee with Fit Food and Art. Make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking the little subscription box with the bell notification icon. That way you will get notified when I upload a new video. I try to upload a new video every week to twice a week. Also, give a video a thumbs up. It really helps your girl's channel grow. And let's get started with this video. So without further ado, I've been wanting to do this video for years, but I had such buyer's remorse and guilt and shame that I wanted to really just avoid the whole subject, but I still get questions till this day, so I figured we need to do a video. So what you see right here is my pre and post pictures of my breast augmentation. I actually have looked at this disc about 2 years ago. It took me 2 years to look at. I am coming up on my breast augmentation anniversary. Will be August 17th. It'll be 5 years since I got my breast implants, and I wanted to give it some time to see if I still felt the buyer's remorse from it, to do this video, to making sure I wasn't being biased about my experience, making sure I'm coming from a neutral space, giving good, genuine advice. And yes, I still feel and regret ever getting my breasts done. So with that said, I haven't looked at this disc in 2 years. I'm gonna pop it in and take a look at it with you guys, and you guys get to see my first response to it. And I haven't looked at this footage in over 2 years. I will also share the pictures that are appropriate with you guys. So my plastic surgeon provided a disc of my pre and post pictures. My post pictures, keep in mind, were 1 year after the implants. So it takes a whole entire year for the implants to fully fall into place. It takes also a couple of months for the swelling to go all the way down. So you don't really get the good gist of actually what your breasts are gonna look like until a whole entire year after your initial breast augmentation. So I was happy with my breasts. I'm not kidding you. For the first exact about 365 days, for like the first exact year, I remember going to this appointment and I was happy about how they looked. It took a couple weeks after that to where I noticed that they really fell down and they weren't as lifted at all. Keep in mind, I just got silicone 300 and no, not 300. I got 450 cc silicone implants, high profile implants underneath the muscle with no lift, okay? I also, at the time of my breast augmentation, was only 115 pounds. The 450 cc's put me at a double D. I am now gained weight, so that's something I would caution everyone before they get breast augmentation. If they are going to gain weight in the future, which most of us do, unless we get sick, we lose weight, but you know, usually us, we put up little lbs on. Breast tissue is fatty tissue. So if you're gonna be putting on a little bit of weight within the next couple years after your augmentation, I would suggest to go with a smaller implant initially. That way when you gain the weight, they don't end up becoming triple Ds. I'm at the point now to where I'm almost a triple D now because of my weight gain. I ended up gaining about 20 pounds after my breast augmentation, a couple years after. Intentionally though, I did a clean bulk diet and I wanted to gain weight. I wish I would have went with a smaller implant. That's my #1 regret, because I have them now, so I try to embrace them as much as possible because I don't like living with guilt or shame, and having buyer's remorse really makes me feel just not supportive of my decisions. So I try to embrace that I have them. I do wish that I went with a smaller implant, keeping in mind that my frame was really small at the time and I wasn't going to be that small forever. There's no way I would have kept off that amount of weight because I was superly duperly active, lifting once a day, sorry, and doing yoga once a day and doing cardio every day. I loved working out. I got addicted to working out. I should have known that through age, you know, you're just not going to be that active because it starts to wear down on your joints. It starts to wear down on your body to where you have to actually start to learn to work smarter and not harder. But when I was young, in my 30s, that's how old I was when I got my breasts done, I was working harder and not smarter. I also was really depriving myself off of flexible dieting. I was really constricting myself on a very bodybuilding diet restriction. I don't even know what kind of fucking diet it was. It was just like get thin quick diet. It was not flexible dieting. I wasn't partaking in enjoying things from the food pyramid, from all parts of the food pyramid. I would restrict myself. So I should have known as soon as I was going to free myself up and give myself a little bit more freedom, I was going to gain weight, and also not being able to work out as hard because throughout time our joints can't take that. We have to work smarter, not harder. So with that said, that's my number one regret, is not knowing what my future plans were with my body. So if you are thinking about getting breast augmentation, I would really keep in mind where your weight is now and where it's going to be in the future, and get the size of implant according to that. Because if you put on some weight, you're going to put on half a cup or so, or 3/4 of a cup of size in the breast area too. So you don't want to be bigger up here. The whole reason why I even was motivated to gain weight is because I wanted to look more proportioned. Here's a picture of me when I first got my breast implants done. I felt like I looked super unproportioned. They were just super big on top. I feel like I was top heavy and everything down. I literally told myself and my friends that I looked like Charlie Brown the Christmas tree with 2 big ornaments and just on a tree. That's how I felt. So I intentionally gained the weight, like I said, but I ended up gaining more. It just, not more than I wanted to. It ended up just proportioning itself out in my body differently than I thought it would. And I didn't keep in mind that breast tissue is fat tissue and that my cup size would go up. All right, so got the disc in. Opening up image number 1. I will post. So right now I am looking at my front profile of before my boob job. Keep in mind, I was very, very thin and very overly active in depriving myself nutrition-wise and dietary-wise. I was vegan, so I was taking in a lot of plant-based foods, so very low calorie. So I had very little body fat percentage. With that said, breast tissue is body fat, so my breasts were highly deflated looking, aesthetically, like highly deflated looking. Okay, looking at this profile picture of before my boob job, I would have to say that I feel a little bit better about my decision. I would have to say I feel a little bit better about my decision because I forgot how deflated they really were, and even on the side to where they looked a little concaved, like caved in. And yeah, there's the opposite side of the profile. Yeah, they were distorted looking, not full, and the shape was not aesthetically pleasing. All right. Going on to look at my 1 year post-op onset profile. Oh, so much better. Okay, these pictures make me feel a little bit better, but I still have buyer's remorse. Because I would have done things differently looking back, hindsight. I mean, God, I did upgrade myself though. That on-point view of the boobs was like night and day. But they're a little bit bigger than I would want them now because of my weight gain. Okay, so I'm glad I looked at these pictures with you guys because I feel alleviated. I feel like I shouldn't be shaming myself so much for going in and kind of being vain and taking the opportunity to have plastic surgery and to do a breast augmentation. The whole reason why I wanted to do a breast augmentation is because I was working so hard and challenging myself so hard in the fitness world that I felt like I needed to gift myself something for all my hard work, all my discipline. So with the weight loss, like I said, breast tissue went. So I thought, well, let's put something in there to inflate these puppies, because they looked like deflated raisinets at that time. So now they're happy, plumpy prunes. But I do majorly, guys, don't regret getting the boob job as much as I did before I started this video after looking at the pictures, but I would have done things differently. Keywords differently. Educate yourself, beautiful souls. Do all the work. I found so much more information about different shapes of implants, different sizes of implants, different ways to put the implants in after I had already committed. I already had them. They're already in me. Before going to a couple plastic surgeons, I would say go to at least 3 plastic surgeons and get their opinion if you should get a lift. What kind of implant should you get? What size should you get? Put the implants in them. Even ask them if you could have a pair of the implants for like a week and wear them in your bra for a week so you could really see if you're liking the size. Keep in mind of your weight too and how it could fluctuate and it could change according to the size that you end up committing to. If I could have looked back at in hindsight and done it all over again, I would have got a lift and I would have got a smaller implant that was more proportioned to my healthy weight, because at this time I was underweight. I was no way going to stay that small. So my healthy weight is 130 pounds. I'm actually 138 pounds right now, so I gained a little bit more. I should have got more so a size like 380 cc profile implant, still high profile implant with a lift, and I would be much more happier, because right now I feel like my boobs are too big with the weight gain, because I'm like a triple D now. I can't wear my double D bras. I end up having this little overflap of breast tissue because they're too big. Also, my profile is not as high anymore. I would like them to set up higher. With a lift, I could have maintained that look. I could have had that longevity wise instead of just that first year of being totally happy and having that newness to them and that happiness because they're lifting. Keeping mind of physics. Physics, beautiful souls. We have to fight against gravity here on this planet. So keep that in mind. So the more things weigh, the more they go down towards gravity. So going with a smaller size, going with a lift, having them nice and perky is going to be much better longevity wise than getting just a big implant to fill in the space, but then they fall. They're not pretty when they're not pouty and perky and up there. All right, Stacy and Tracy? Stacy and Tracy. Also is knowing what kind of financial bind you are putting yourself in. Breast implants do have to be changed out. They will tell you that they don't. They do, especially if you start to get symptomatic. I would suggest that you get new breast implants at least every 10 to 15 to 20 years. So you made an initial investment of about $5,500, let's say, because that's how mine cost. And in 10 years to 15 years to maybe 20 at the max, there's no way I'm going to go into my 50s with triple double Ds, though. I know I'm going to make the change before that because these things are heavy as well. Keep in mind, the bigger the implant, the heavier it is on your upper back. So if you could go with a smaller, perkier, more natural look, but having that filled look, I would definitely go to that route because that's going to get you longevity and that's going to last you some time. And if you gain some little weight, it's not going to inflate the size here and make you have to go buy all kinds of new bras because you gain the weight. And you'll be happy with it longevity-wise. So with that said, can't remember where I was going. I would get something that's realistic and idealistic with gravity, with age, with weight inflation, and definitely, if you have had a child or have went through a massive weight loss, I would definitely get a lift because by the time they fall, you're not happy with them anymore. Because my nipples, whether you can't see it right now or not, it's not horrible. I know there's people with lower breasts, but being that I invested $5,500, I feel like they should be a lot lifted. Or right here. If you guys want to see what perfect tits look like, Google Kim Kardashian's. Her nipples are like right here. Because why? Because in Silicon Valley, the mecca of plastic surgery, every plastic surgeon over there will suggest a lift. because they know after that year to a year, a little over a year, you will not be happy anymore because gravity, physics, takes place. So to help fight against that, they all suggest a lift. And how I know is my sister got her breast implants there. Doctors here in Southern Colorado, totally different. They just stuff you up like a turkey and hope that you're happy for a year to a year and a half. And if you're not, guess what? You give them another $5 to $6 to $7 grand to fix them. And then they got you. They got you coming back every 5 to 10 years, which is exactly what they want because they're in the business of money making. Plastic surgery is all about vanity usually. There's a few dysmorphia people that go in there to where they need to be proportioned and things like that and corrections. Honestly, at the end of the day, beautiful souls, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. I do regret not getting a lift. I do regret not researching, knowing different sizes of implants. There's different sizes. There's like this pear shape, there's high profile, there's teardrop. Depending on how you would want them to look. There's under the muscle, there's over the muscle. All these doctors that say, oh, we'll put them under the muscle, that way it doesn't fall that much in the future. It still falls. Physics is still a real thing. Gravity is still a real thing. So if you really want them to be lifted and you want them perky and you want to stay happy with them, I suggest to make the investment and get a lift with your breast augmentation. Go with a aesthetically pleasing, proportionate size of implant, which the doctor doesn't help you a lot on that. So that's where it comes into mind to you knowing yourself, where your weight's going to be, where your weight's going to fluctuate, what you're going to be happy with, what kind of size bras are you going to be, and keeping in mind the line of work that you do. If you are overlooking people all day, like me being a hairdresser, cosmetologist, eyelash extensionist, permanent makeup artist, the strain on our neck and the gravity, this is 2 extra pounds now that I have on my chest, ends up putting a big strain on our neck, which why I'm so in love with yoga, because it's the only thing that I found to alleviate my pain. I should have went with a smaller implant that was more idealistic and realistic, more aesthetically pleasing if I implanted in my weight as well, and with a lift. Now looking back in hindsight though, I'm not eager to go and have multiple surgeries. Who the hell is? Plus, sedation kills brain cells. Keep that in mind. Every time you get sedated, you are signing and consenting that you might lose your life too, because it could be dangerous. For an aesthetic thing, my values and my morals are so different now. I wish I would have just went with a lift. Would have just went with a lift. And if you're gonna do it, research, so that way you don't have to have multiple surgeries, you don't have to live with regrets, you don't have to live with buyer's remorse. And know at the end of the day that beauty starts within. Health, value of yourself, being genuine, confidence, all starts with the mind and your heart, not with the way you look. Okay? Treat yourself accordingly. I always want to emphasize the importance of treating yourself because I was so good at refraining and constricting myself of things until I felt like I really deserved something, and that's why I went with such a drastic grab of breast augmentation when I should have just been doing small things here and there, for giving myself a gift for being disciplined with my diet and for being disciplined with my exercise, such as, booking yourself a massage, giving yourself a pedicure once in a while, going out with some girlfriends and having some drinks, or even going to a little getaway weekend with your girlfriends, stuff like that. That way when it's time for you to do something for yourself, you don't go for such a drastic measure, such as plastic surgery. To each their own, though. This is just my experience, my advice, mine hindsight looking back at it. Now I will have to have another surgery. Here I want to have another surgery before I'm 40 years old. I don't want to go into my 40s with triple Ds. They are heavy. And by heaviness, they do cause strain in my neck. They do cause fatigue as well. And they do cause irritability, because when you're feeling strains and pains in your neck, you do get irritated, and you do, my short-term memory at one point was getting really badly affected from it. However, I have learned how to work smarter now with these breast implants, and it does take you a while to adapt to them. It took me a whole year and a half to a year to just say that I loved them, just to feel like I was myself again. So the psychologicalness effect that they take on you too, be prepared for that. Like, you have a like small identity crisis with them too. So that's one thing to consider. They don't do like any pre-psychoanalysis with their patients as well either. But hindsight, looking back, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. You're beautiful. No one cares about your breasts. There are plenty of supportive, good bras. There are plenty of little pasties that could paste them up and put them in there. And if people are that shallow to judge you and to treat you according to how you look, maybe you should question on what kind of people you have in your life. And maybe you should question of where your moral and value compass is personally, because aesthetics is an illusion, beautiful souls. With that said, do your research. If you're going to still proceed in getting implants, get a lift with them. If you can't financially support the lift yet, then wait until you can, because you won't be happy, and then you'll be having multiple surgeries. If you guys are interested in donating to my GoFundMe page to help me with my explant, because I do have a plan on getting these explanted before I'm 40. I actually already talked to a consultation doctor that specializes in explant. I'll be doing an explant with a full capsulectomy, removing the capsules of where the implant developed as well, because I don't want to have multiple surgeries. I want to have one more surgery and just be done with it. So I will be explanting, and I will be getting a lift and just going back to my full natural breast. And I'm super excited about that. I've lived the edge of 5 years of having breast implants. I know what it was like prior breast implants, and then I'll share my experiences post breast implants. So with that said, I hope to have that surgery before I'm 40 or in my 40s. So I got another about 5 years to come up with the funds. And the reason why I'm doing that drastic commitment of a surgery is because I want it to be my one and last final surgery as far as the aesthetics world and the cosmetics world. I don't want to have multiple, because I know if I was to get another size of implants, I'd have to do them again in 15 to 20 years, and they'd fall again, because physics is real and gravity takes place. So I just want to be done with it. So I feel like that would be a conclusion to my journey of experiencing with plastic surgery. The link will be down in the bio if you want to donate to help support me with my breast explant. Also, make sure to subscribe to my Patreon and pledge a Patreon of $5 monthly donation to this channel to help support me and getting me inspired to come on here and share my content, because I do not get paid from YouTube as of yet. Share this video with anybody that you know is contemplating breast implants, or just wanting to live vicariously through a person that has had them, and a person that, you know, I could take them, leave them, really leave them. But with that said, do something more with your money, beautiful souls. Take a family vacation, go on a freaking retreat, go to a yoga retreat, find who you are, find the truth within yourself. That's where true knowledge, wisdom, and beauty resides. With that said, beautiful souls, peace, love, and light. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching. Namaste.